Hello, beloved. I thank you so much for your time and I thank you for joining me on the Prophetic Vessel Show. This will be your message from God, Ra, Allah, Source, the Divine. I'm grateful for your time. To those whom are keen or interested in becoming members of my Patreon, on my Patreon, I offer weekly sign readings for $10 per month based on love as well as spiritual path. I also offer on my Patreon personal readings for $50 per month. You get a personal reading from me every month based on love, spiritual path, career and finances, as well as ancestral messages. If you're keen to join my Patreon, you'll find the link down in my description box below, or you can join by typing what is on the screen via Google, search it, and it'll lead you to my Patreon website. Without further ado, let us tap in and find out, why were you spiritually led here? What is here for you, beloved? Why did you resonate with the title? And why did your own YouTube algorithm present you with this message? Let us tap in and talk to God, okay? Okay, we have the Chariot. Okay, we have Cancer energy with the Chariot. We have the Three of Wands. Okay, the Chariot to the Three of Wands. We have Sagittarius energy with the Three of Wands here. We have the King of Pentacles here. Okay, we have Capricorn energy, we have Virgo energy, we have Taurus energy here. We have the Ten of Wands. We have double Sagittarius energy with this Ten of Wands. Okay, so I see here, beloved, the energy that you are in. I see that you are, choosing yourself. All right. You've chosen yourself, and it shows in the way your life is turning out for you. Choosing yourself in this instance for this message, I see it's in regards to you making decisions and choices based on your perspective and your feelings, your thoughts, your voice, your emotions being the one that matters most, apart from the voice of the world or even the voice of those around you. You've taken initiative of having a certain level of control over your life, and it's showing in the way your life is turning out. I do see that you are going to begin to see as well how things were never in vain when it comes to you. You weren't meant to be like somebody else or be compared to another person. You were meant to have your own individuality to begin with. Your identity is something that is being worked on. Okay, God has been working on you here, and the way in which things are going to be happening in your reality, it's going to show. It doesn't have to show to anyone else for it to be real. It's going to show because it has to show. Okay, it's not showing because, oh, so and so has to see, or this point needs to be proven, or that needs to happen. Nah, it's going to show because it needs to show. And I am seeing here that as you are in this energy, you are not fixated on any person or obsessing over anything or attaching yourself to anyone else's reality, because you are so within you, within yours, that nothing else matters here. Okay, there is big changes coming your way as you have invested your energy solely in yourself. You've invested your energy solely in your reality, and you've invested your energy solely in your own way. Okay, in life, it's okay to be inspired. It's okay to have reference points and, just to take from the world around you, but do not enable what you take to become you. Take based on inspiration, not based on, being a thief or stealing what you see from another person. Because you lose your own identity or individualism in another person's reality, because you are taking from them or you are referencing something in their world, right? When you're inspired, you see from another person's perspective something that triggers something in you. You see whatever you see in another person's reality, and whatever it triggers within you, you make it what you want it to be, but you were inspired, and that's what inspiration should be, not what it is nowadays, where people copy and people steal, and just being a thief in terms of energy, in terms of words, style, in terms of any looks, really. And those are just analogies, right? Where we live in a world where people constantly want to compare their lives to another person's life, or people constantly want to compare themselves to another person. And it puts them in a predicament where they lose touch of themselves and they lose touch of their reality, because they're so focused on another person's life, losing sight of their own. So, with that being said here, I do see that you didn't fall victim to comparison, because you always chose yourself, and you made a good decision to choose yourself, even if it didn't seem like that in the beginning. Okay, God tested your character. God wanted to see if you were going to learn your worth or lose your worth. Okay, and you learned your worth. So congratulations. This is a beautiful energy here. But moving forward from that, with this Two of Cups, we have double Cancer energy here. I do see with this Two of Cups energy that there is a doppelganger spirit in your life. This doppelganger spirit, it's based on individualism, right? For a doppelganger to be a doppelganger, they need to strip themselves of their own individualism. Their own individuality is therefore non-existent, because they are cloning themselves as another person. In this instance, someone is cloning or trying to clone or attempting to clone themselves as you, manipulating the way they look or the way they speak or the way they approach life or what they choose to do or how they choose to do it, in order for it to fit your identity, your reality. This person here, we have the King of Swords. I do see that you are very detached from this doppelganger energy in your reality. Okay, whoever this is in your life, you are not giving them any ounce of attention or validation or acknowledgement. You are not seeing them, you're not hearing it as well. We have Aquarius energy with this King of Swords. We have Gemini energy as well as Libra energy. We have the Knight of Swords, and then we have the Identity card, the Identity energy here. We have Judgment. So yes, beloved, you do have here somebody that studies you a lot, to say the least, right? And it's not based on inspiration. Doppelganger energy, if someone stands in doppelganger energy, they're not inspired by the person that they're trying to be like, or the energy they're trying to clone. They're more so trying to become like that person. It's not like I really admire you or anything of that regard. It's deeper than that, right? It's like, with that being said, I do see that this person's energy has been heavy in your life, whether you've been giving it attention or not, which I am seeing that you really haven't. And the fact that you haven't been giving this energy of a person any attention is driving them crazy. It's putting them in a predicament where they feel crazy, and it's making them even look crazy, okay? They're just going crazy, or they are crazy, or this is all just crazy, okay? So we do have double Aquarius energy here. We have double Gemini energy. We have double Virgo energy. Not Virgo, Libra energy, pardon me. We also have Scorpio energy here with the Judgment. So I do see here that, as we've established here, this individual, the reason they're in such a crazy state of being, it's because, right, they're not seeing any results from them attempting to clone your energy or trying to be like you in any way, or manipulating anything in order for them to be perceived as you are perceived, or to be loved and validated and acknowledged the way you are. Okay, it's enabling this person to have low self-esteem. They're losing, themselves in all of this. It's hard for them to maintain their own posture of life, where they stand on their own 2 feet as who they are, and nothing else really matters or exists within that. It's more like this person is trying to take from you as much as possible, or in as much depth as they possibly can, with the hopes and the wish that, like, it will enable them to accomplish something in their reality that they really need. This person needs something. That's why they're so adamant in being like you, or having a cloned image as you do. And this person, they're trying to personify themselves in a way that they take from you in every way, but then they want to say, like, okay, I can be the better version of this person, or I can make it work better than they can or they do, which is you in this instance, better than you can, or better than you do, which is really, as I'm tapping in here, I feel really drained, right, with this person's energy, because this person doesn't want to understand that they aren't who they think they are. Okay, and it's a constant loop that they're stuck in, because they don't want to understand that they aren't who they think they are. They lost their own individuality, individualism, and therefore they have no capacity within themselves to create space of their own. Their whole self is consumed with and filled with your identity, that there is no space for themselves. And that's really deep if you think about it. If you think about it, anyone sitting in the energy of wanting so desperately to be like another person, to the point where they lose themselves in that other person's energy, that's really deep. So this doppelganger energy, this doppelganger spirit here, this is something not to take lightly, because I am channeling from this person's energy that they're willing to go through a lot, or just go the extra mile to accomplish this here. They're really desperate at this time. We have the high priestess, and their desperation is what makes them, a menace or dangerous or elusive enough to not understand reality for what it is. And when you don't understand reality for what it is, you lose sight of reality. And what happens then, down the rabbit hole you go. With this high priestess, we have Pisces energy here. With this 7 of Pentacles, we do have double Taurus energy here. It seems to me that what this person is going through is more of like a psychosis with this high priestess to the 7 of Pentacles, whereby it's an energy of a person that has spent too much time in comparison to you, and being in that state of being has depleted them in ways that they can't comprehend or process. An analogy, a reference point, a case study, an example, right? Let's tap in deeper. Take, for instance, a married couple, or a couple that is in a committed relationship, and it clearly shows that there is so much love and companionship in the relationship, right? This is just an analogy, a reference point, a case study, an example. Just align and bear with me as I try to enable you to tap in further to how serious this is, right? You may not be experiencing it, but someone is here with regards to you, and this message is not for nothing, okay? So take, for instance, okay, these two people, they're so in love with one another, and they so wrapped in each other's energy, right? And they are of light. Let's say these two people, they exude this godlike energy of light, and they just radiate so much love outside of the relationship and inside of it. They are who they are, right? And then moving forward, say that this person in the background stumbles upon this couple somehow, whether they see them directly or indirectly, somehow they know this couple, not obviously personally, knowing meaning like they know of them now, they see them, or they're experiencing something about them, whether it's information or a more personal one, where it's like they're literally seeing something one-on-one, but someone in the background stumbles upon this couple, and it could be a feminine or a masculine, either way, right? Let's say this feminine or this masculine that stumbles upon this couple gets attached, fixated, and obsessive over the love they have for one another. And let's make that in a more realistic way, where somebody that has not experienced love in their reality, seeing love and seeing it from afar, it can enable them to attach and obsess and fixate on what they see, because it's something they obviously yearn for within themselves, and they've never experienced it. So it just so happens that, like, let's say it gets worse. It gets worse, where there's levels to obsession, there's levels to fixation, there's levels to attachment as well. And let's say it gets worse, where this person, they just go deeper and deeper and into the state of being, and they just are so attached, fixated, and obsessed that it starts to control them, right? That fixation, that obsession, that attachment. And them being tapped into that energy, they don't see the reality of it. To them, it's like they're in this loop, right? And they just start following this couple around, or they start wanting to be where the couple is so that they may like be close to them, and they start to think like in very sinister ways, where they want to like sniff both the people, touch them, or just be in their presence somehow, but they don't know how to do it without obviously coming off creepy, weird, or intrusive, bothersome, just real life stuff. Like, who would want to like be with a person and all of a sudden some weirdo obviously is there just staring and stalking? Like, it is weird. It's real life based. It's weird. It would be, right? So coming back to the generalization of this message, don't forget what we've established, that this person has lost themselves in your individuality. They've lost themselves within your identity. Going back to the analogy, the reference point, the case study, the example, it is that, let's take for instance, this person stays in this loop with this couple and this fixation, obsession, and attachment, where it increases. It just doesn't stop increasing within them, and they lose sight of their own reality and their own identity, because their life is now beginning to revolve around what they are yearning for within themselves, and they seeing it in another person or in these two people, right? And whatever they're yearning for, it then begins to overpower reality, because it's what you desire. It's like having this craving, and you just like, I need to really do something about it, because I can't stop thinking about it, wanting it, feeling for it. You understand? So this person here within the message itself, this is somebody here, it's a very serious thing whereby they've consumed themselves with your energy to the extent that they don't know who they are anymore. They don't know who they are anymore. Individuality is important. It's like how we established earlier that like we all live in a world where comparison is a well-known factor, or they have these shoes on, or like, damn, like I wish I could have those. Like, like, why do they, like, it's like a thing where it's a simulation. Comparison is the simulation of life that exists amongst humankind, right? We have the Three of Pentacles here. We have double Capricorn energy. We have the Four of Wands. We have triple Sagittarius energy. So back to the energy of simulation, where we as people, we can't help but to compare. And it takes work within ourselves, shadow work, inner work, internal work, for us to get to the point where we are not affected by the voice of the world and what we see within the world and around us, to the point where even with what we may feel we lack or think we lack, it doesn't put us in a sunken place where we go into a rabbit hole within ourselves, and it's like this and that, tit for tat. Why her? Why him? Why this? Why that? You know what I mean? But it's hard because we live in such a social world, in such a internet world, in such a look at me, look at her, look at this, look at that world, look at him. They doing this, they there, they stay here, they drive that, they go there, they hang around that person, they wear this, they look like that. That's what our modern world has begun to revolve around. And it's as superficial as it can be, but it has its effects. It affects people differently. In this instance, it's affecting this person within a psychosis manner, where they are there's a disbalance of self, or an imbalance of self rather, where there's that fine line of having your world within yourself and then having to live in the world around you. It's like how an analogy, a reference point, a case study, an example. We can live in the same house but experience the house differently, because within ourselves we have a different world that exists, our own thoughts, our own feelings, our own spirit, etc., etc. So this person's internal world has been affected. The inner world, the inner self, has been consumed by you. And them losing themselves within that regard is a serious thing, because they're unable to come back to themselves because of the amount of energy they've invested in you as a person, as an individual, within your identity, your reality, your life, your world. Okay. Another analogy, reference point, case study, and example. Take somebody that is just so enraptured in this artist's work or music, and they just lose themselves in it so much that they start to fantasize, and they start to create fake scenarios and put themselves in those scenarios. It gets that psychosis where people either have control of it or they don't. I know it's just a fantasy. It's just, I'm in it though. And some people can't differentiate between fantasy and real life, or between truth and illusion. And this is where this person is at. They cannot differentiate between themselves and you. And it doesn't mean that they are so fixated, attached, and obsessive over your identity that they attempting to clone you and things like that nature, and it's working. It's not obviously working. But the thing is, they don't see it like that. To them, it's the more they try, the closer they get to accomplishing the version of themselves that is closer to you than they could. This is really psychological here. This person, they are stuck in this energy. They're in a loop, a trance. That's why it being dangerous, or it being like a menace, a hazard in your world, in your reality, it can be possible, because look at what we've tapped into and what we've established here. This is a deep desire of someone. We all have desires. Some people wish for this and wish for that. This person's ultimate wish with this Ace of Wands energy is to be like you, or to be you enough that they don't have to have their own identity. You see what I'm saying? This person is purposely doing this. That's why it's psychological. Someone is purposely putting themselves in a predicament where they want to lose themselves in your identity. They're that attached to your identity. They that fixated on your identity, and they that obsessive over you. Okay, it's a real thing. This is some serious stuff. And it just so happens that, with that being said, right, everyone in life, when you have a desire for something, you strive to accomplish it. A desire can be a goal, a passion, a interest, a love for something. It can be broken down in multiple different ways, but you want something. And what do you do with something that you want? You go for it and you strive to accomplish it. And people's wants have different meanings to them. People's wants have different meanings to them, right? Some people want a car to show off to others that they have a car. Some people want a car because they really need a car, and it will be a great accomplishment within themselves to achieve something like that. It'll put them in a better place in terms of confidence, in terms of, alignment of self, where yes, I can do it, or yes, I did it. people want things for different reasons, and people's wants mean different things to them. Okay? But it's a want nonetheless. Your identity is what this person wants. Okay? It's getting to the point or to the extent that this person is willing to do anything to make this happen. Okay? Whether they dibble and dabble in things, or they have to associate themselves with certain people, or they have to do, what they have to do, or say what they have to say, act how they have to act, think how they have to think, feel how they have to feel to get this done. They're willing. Like, this is that serious to somebody here. It's no joke. It's like, no, you can't tell somebody about something that they're passionate about and tell them to stop investing in it, or something that they really have love for and tell them that they should stop loving it, or something that they really want to accomplish, a certain goal or desire, and tell them, nah, like, leave it alone. Like, people want what they want. And like we've established here, someone has a serious psychosis within a simulation that they're in here. This is like truly concerning here. It's something serious. Okay, and it's coming out in the energy for a reason. They feel and think that being like you is the reason for their happiness. Did you hear what I said? Like some people are just not okay, right? Like, they just not okay. But it gets problematic. Like, we don't be okay as people. Some people suffer from certain things, or they're not okay for certain reasons. They still struggling with this, that, and the third, or the environment, or this person, this trauma, this pain, this, that. Everyone has their own things, guys. We all do, right? And it takes work within ourselves, inner work, shadow work, internal work, to rid ourselves of what we are facing. But in this instance here, like, this is so deeply embedded within this person. I don't see that they will be able to get out of this trance, this loop here. Like, I don't see a way out for them here. Like, this person has convinced themselves that within your identity lies their truest happiness. Within your individuality is their happiness. And don't we all want to be happy? Isn't that the ultimate goal? Just like, even if we have this, or we live in this house, or we go there, we do that, if we're not happy, nothing actually matters. We can have the biggest this and do the this and that, but if you're not happy, it's like being sick, like literally physically sick. You can't do what you want to do, even though you have the means to do it, until you are well enough physically to, or not sick anymore, to be able to do it. And that goes for mental illness as well, and that goes for emotional illness as well. Being in the predicament that is healthy, stable, good, and happy within those aspects of self, emotionally happy, mentally happy, to be able to be happy in your life. I don't see a way out for them, okay? The only thing that will put this person in a point of being where they're back to themselves is if they choose themselves. But them intentionally not wanting themselves and wanting your identity instead, that's, I mean, and when I say they're willing to do anything, like, be cautious here. If you ever see this person anywhere close to where you reside, or if you ever hear about them now communicating with the people that you know, or just wanting to cause some form of interaction or altercation with you, you need to stay away from this person. This is not somebody that you can be around, or obviously you won't hang with them, but like be around, as in like, do not ignore their presence anywhere. Whenever you see them, get out of there. Like someone is not okay. Like emotionally they are sick, and mentally they are sick. They are too in deep in this. It's too psychological, and what you cannot see is psychological. You can't see someone's mental illness unless they do something that shows you how mentally ill they are. Same goes with emotional illness as well. It's not physical illness where you can clearly see they're not okay. That's why you gotta stay away from this person. You don't know what they're truly capable of, because I'm seeing with the swords energy, 7 of swords, followed by the 10 of swords. These two energies together is like, it's like pull the trigger, killed us both energy. Like this doppelganger here, like someone is truly gone. You know, when I say gone, like they're so within something that it's like, it is a psychosis. The reality of the truth of the situation doesn't exist to this person. You need to be careful. And the dangerous thing, the hazard, the menace within this regard is not them per se, it's what you don't see about them. Anything unseen, unknown, unheard is dangerous if it's coming towards you in a harmful way, obviously. But your awareness will always save you, and you are aware enough that this person is not okay within themselves to understand when I say stay away from this person. Do not let ego drive you and you say, nah, what they gonna do? Like, they don't know me either. Like, whatever this is. Guys, choose yourself. Let's tap in further to this energy. Let's talk to God. Choose yourself. It's not worth it. Let that ego like die off when it comes to the situation. If you find yourself in the same presence as this person, leave that place. If you hear that they associated with a specific person, do not get close. Like, do not speak anything of you to that person. It's not that, oh, they're gonna deceive you or whatever. It's that's besides the point. It's the fact that that person has access to somebody you have access to. Do not try to play God with this situation, because you don't know everything. Yes, we know what we've established, and you know what you know as well in your reality about the situation, but it's not everything. That's what though I feel like a movie needs to be. I'm hoping that it will come to me, like I channel some form of a movie that will enable you to understand or see some form of danger, because this is like you're in danger here. Look at my, everything is messed up now. Crazy. Like, you guys, it's like, it's not fun to be a target of someone like this. It's not like ego boost, like I am that person. What? Guys, it's real life. Like, get away from this person. Get away from this person. Get away. There's things you don't know. There's things you don't see. Things you don't hear. Things you don't understand yet. But someone here is not right. Don't fall victim to this. Someone's not right. Someone's really not right. Y'all, this is crazy to me. There is something you don't see. There's something you don't see. You have the Queen of Cups here. To be blessed with an energy like you, it's a blessing and a curse. I know for a fact that, like, I can't just go outside. I can't just, like, I have to, like, speak to God about it first. You know what I'm saying? I have to pray, and I have to be in the know. My ancestors will alert me if I'm not meant to go out. You know, God will turn situations around in my reality to just put me in a position where I have no choice but to stay in the house. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing, we don't see everything. We think it's just an inconvenience where it's like, damn, now I can't go out. You don't know what awaits you. You know what I'm saying? You have no clue that if you were to leave the house, what would happen. And same with, like, maybe you are invited somewhere and someone invites you somewhere and they tell you that it's going to be fun, it's going to be, you know, it's going to be all things good, but then your spirit just don't feel like going there. You're just like, man, I don't want to go there. I don't want to be out. Like, God will put that on you to protect you from what you can't see. I'm really trying to warn you guys about someone here, because this energy of a person, it's been 3 months constantly them showing up in your energy, in your messages. God is trying to alert you here. It's not this, someone is not sane. They are not coexisting within the reality that we are within the world. Like, they're in their own simulation. They do, it's like someone is not here inside of them. I'm seeing a prophetic vision of water, and I'm hearing water, right? And I'm seeing it in this energy as well, right? But the way in which the prophetic vision is being shown, I'm seeing like, picture someone drowning, right? And they're willing to put themselves in a position to drown because they know that someone is going to come and save them. But that person that is going to come and save them, the reason they're putting themselves in the water to drown is because they want to pull that person in the water. They want to pull them down in the water and then let them drown and never speak of it again and just move on. It's like, if you let this slide, in terms of like, if you get comfortable in thinking that someone is like not gonna even try nothing, like, or be on anything because 1, 2, 3, like I said, you don't know everything, you don't see everything, your awareness is limited, you know. So without awareness, you are blind. That prophetic vision illustrates that this person is willing to sacrifice you so that they live as you. You guys are not hearing me. And sacrifice is different. Like, it means different things, but it's the same thing. Back to the fact that if you don't want to go somewhere all of a sudden, or you've been feeling like, I don't want to go anywhere, if you don't want to speak to someone, if you feel led to not do something, if things happen the way they happen, and it's like the voice of the circumstance that you find yourself in is literally telling you, don't do this, don't go there, don't say this, don't be there, don't fight it. Because like I said, this person's world revolves around you here. I don't think you get it. Like, someone is not gonna let this go. Like I said, I don't see them getting out of this energy. Like, this person, I feel like they're going to die in this energy. They're that far gone. You know, when you just too in something and it's just like, it's you in. It's you in. There's no saving this person in this energy here. They've let themselves go. They've let themselves go. So you need to choose yourself here, because, you know, it's one of those things where, I love how God does that. So another prophetic vision, right? We're going to use that as an analogy, a reference point, a case study, an example, right? So there is this show that I watched, right? It's these two women that interview people, and they talk about the spiritual battles, the spiritual warfare, and how they overcame all of it and eventually found their way to God, however way, right? In this episode, they were the ones telling their story, right? They had brought someone in to interview them, so they switched the roles. They were saying how their mother, right? These are grown women, like 30s, late 30s, early 30s, right? These are grown women. So they saying, you know, they now married, they got kids, they living life. They never met their mom. Their mom passed away at the age of 4. And her passing is what they were speaking about. The mother died of no natural causes. Like, they literally just found her collapsed, right? And no one knew what happened. The forensics or the doctors, no one could explain. They then simplified it and said, she might have gotten electrocuted and, there's internal bleeding, but there were no signs of that. It was just like a way to wrap up the passing of, the death. What happened was, this happened when she was getting married. So day this was the day before her getting married, right? The person she was getting married to, this man had a comic feminine, right? This comic feminine had called the woman, right, the mother of the two women, called her directly, imagine, the day before the wedding, and said, you won't make it to your wedding. They furthermore said, these two women, as they were telling their story about their mother, they said their mother was like extremely beautiful. Their mother was very attention, like she got a lot of attention. She was who she was, and she was very, she walked in a very star-like energy, she was somebody that everybody knew. She was therefore somebody that attracted in a lot of jealousy and envy. There was a specificity they placed on her beauty. They kept on saying how beautiful she was, and she died when she was really young, like 26, 28, right? Around there. And she never got the chance to really live in her womanhood to the fullest capacity because someone took it from her. This comic woman, she apparently came to the home, and because there was no evidence of what happened, she was set free. But it's after she left the home, right, that something happened to the mother of the two women, and like jealousy and envy, guys, it manifests itself in different ways. She really didn't want to see that woman getting married to that man, and she really didn't want that woman to be the wife, or already she was who she was. She was this star, this goddess energy. Like they kept emphasizing that. They kept saying this woman was really like the talk of the town, and like she was vibrant and radiated so much light. Everybody wanted a piece of that. And so did this comic feminine here. She knew she couldn't be this woman, so rather take her life. Real talk. This is a true story. And we live in a world where things like that happen. I don't know why we are so desensitized to that. Don't shrug it off. This is real. Like, you can be who you are, and you are this godlike energy of a person, but God is trying to protect you because he knows what his energy comes with. I don't just be leaving the house. I sit my ass in the house, baby. I'm scared of folks. Like, I'm scared, baby. People ain't right. I'm being called to end this message here. This was your message from God, Ra, Allah, Source, the Divine. I'm grateful for your time, and I thank you so much for joining me on the Prophetic Vessel Show. To those whom are keen or interested in becoming members of my Patreon, on my Patreon, I offer weekly sign readings for $10 per month based on love as well as spiritual path. I also offer on my Patreon personal readings. For $50 per month, you get a personal reading from me every month based on love, spiritual path, career and finances, as well as ancestral messages. You'll find the link to my Patreon listed in my description box below, or you can join my Patreon by typing what is on the screen via Google, search it, and it'll lead you to my Patreon website. I thank you all for everything, and I will see you all soon. Goodbye.